Okay, carrying on with the core exercises here for the half marathon training program, the non-running program. So we showed you the side bridge with that top leg abducted or away from the midline. Keep that top leg lift very, very small. We want it to be that you're activating the glutes and stabilizing the hip and pelvis. If you kick the leg up way too high, you're going to activate the QO, the wrong muscles. So just make that a good solid bridge, but then a very small lift. Lead with your heel. Okay? Then from there, you're going into a side bridge where the top leg is supporting our adduct. So forearm is down and then back in a little bit, toes to your shins, chest tall, and then clamp that bottom leg and bring it in and just hold here for time. And again, you can start in with holding that for 20, 30, build up to 40, and then if you want to progress, then the last version here is top leg supported, and we'll add in a little bit of dynamic element to try and keep your spine neutral. So they don't have to meet. It's better for your spine to stay neutral and not be rotating and flexing, but bring that bottom leg forward and top leg back. And just adding in the small pulses here, a little bit more dynamic stabilization needed through. So those are the three progressions for the back bridge and for side bridging. Now, as well, we've got some Pallof presses and some rollouts to show you. So on the Pallof press, what you're doing is you're standing perpendicular to the band of the tubing, and then there's 3 foot positions. So if I'm in neutral stance, meaning feet are seated side by side, good posture, head pulled back, I'll press out and I want you to hold 3, 4, up to 10, bring it back. You do a 10-second hold at the extended position, keeping the hands midline. Don't let the hands fall outside the shoulder, or don't be leaning on it. Push it right down the middle of the pipe, hold for 10, bring it back in. Only the arms move. After you do 3 reps, flip around and do the other. The next progression would be, you'd get into split stance, and the same thing. Push, hold for 10. And you can see how I was fighting for it right at the start there. That's a lot more aggressive. You're going to feel that a lot more through the hip and the glute. Put the outside knee on the ground. Then you have to go to a little less tension for this last version. Again, bring it to midline, come up to one leg, press it out, try and stick and hold. 10 seconds, bring it back in. Again, press and hold. If you're interested why I'm setting up those 3 different variations, you can send me an email and I'll explain all the details of why it's that, but otherwise just understand it go from 2-leg to split stance to 1 leg. Rollouts, you can start with the stability ball first. And when we're doing the rollouts, we always want to say rib cage stays locked on your hip. So this distance is not going to get greater. We're not going to extend through the low back. We're not going to get an anterior tilt in the hip and pelvis. And we want the chin to stay tucked down towards the chin or the chest. So to start out, so your first variation or first progression is doing a rollout with the ball there, where it's a less aggressive position. And then if we get a little bit lower to the ground and I pick up the ab wheel, again, a longer lever, so a little bit more loading, and then finally and you can see me buckling there a little bit, so it gets more aggressive as we go. So find the version that's appropriate for you and then build up from there. The last 2, you have Turkish get-ups and some dumbbell swings. So the Turkish get-up, the 3 versions. First one is you would just get to hip extension. Now you can go right to that free leg off. The key is to get that arm nice and tall, eyes are on, and you extend that hip, you really push tall. Now the second step or progression here, push that hip extension, and then bring the knee, and now drive tall. Always finishing tall on these with a nice neutral wrist and the eyes are on the bell. And then the last progression is to take it right up to standing and go up and down. And so with the Turkish get-ups, you can do 5 on each arm. So whether it's to hip extension, to kneeling, or right up and down, do 5s. And now here, you're going to set yourself neutral stance, and you want to imagine your water bottle or something sitting on top of your head, okay? And well, we just had a visitor walk in on the video 2 minutes ago, so it's only appropriate we start getting the phone ringing now. But imagine that only your arms can move, and there's a glass of water sitting on top of your head. Start with real small movements, and then progress to more aggressive and more violent swings. And you'll feel how your body and your torso, your trunk having to stabilize the swinging and the movement of the arms. Your core is going to have to fire and stabilize that. From there you can get into split stance and the same type of thing. And this glute and this hip of the down leg really has to fire to try and stabilize the position. And then lastly, you can go to single leg and repeat. And again, starting with small pulses and lightweight, and then progress to heavier load and a greater swing, greater amplitude. There's no sense grabbing a weight that if I grab too heavy and my body is getting pulled all over the place and I'm stepping off balance. Use the greatest load that you can do with perfect technique rather than a heavier load where you're compensating, you're falling off balance, and you're breaking down. And so on those, you can do 30 swings total or 15 on each arm. So to recap all of that, the bridging, you're doing 2 sets of 10, either the hook hip lift, the 2-legged bench extension, or the 1-leg bench extension. The side bridge, first against the wall, small little lift, 20, then 40, 20, 40, 30, then 40 seconds. Or top leg supported, same thing, 20, 30, 40 seconds, top leg supported, and small pulses with the top arm, bottom leg. When you get into the rollouts, you're doing 10 rollouts, 2 sets. Turkish get-ups, you're going to go 5 on each arm. Payoffs, you're doing 3 reps, and you're doing 10-second holds. You'd face one way and then the other, and then lastly, on the swings, you're doing 30 swings. Use a lightweight, start with the easier one. On all the versions, do the easiest version that you can master, get really comfortable with it, and then progress from there. And if you guys have questions, just shoot me an email and we'll sort it out for you.